here, if you didn't already know, change is emotional. Change is emotional, and it has always been emotional. And for those who say that it's not, then I would question what methods you're using to get you through those processes. I found out early in the early 90s, I found out that change is emotional. Here I am, a 22-year-old senior in college who had just finished up my eligibility of playing college basketball. Now, during that time, I was a pretty good damn player. I was pretty good, man. And I had the adulation of the entire campus. It helped that I was an alpha. I pledged Alpha Alpha in the spring of 1991. And so there were a couple of things that put me in a position to be pretty popular. Let's just keep it real. I was popular. And what comes with popularity? I had probably the finest little, the finest little young lady at the school, at the campus that was kind of digging on me. And we were an item. And so if you can imagine, every game she sat courtside, home game, I get out, man. And over time, that just became what it was. Big Al, Kiss Allen, doing his thing, Glove, doing his thing. And it was funny. The minute my eligibility ended, she left me. And not only did she leave me, she left me for one of my frat brothers. Right. It's a real story. She left me for one of my frat brothers. And it didn't help that here I am, 6'5", dunking all the balls, everybody screaming for me all the time. This dude was like 5'5". Now, it looked like he worked out quite a bit, but he was a little bitty dude. And it was instant shock. And so the young lady that I was dating at the time, her name was S.A.R.A.H. And I had to find a way because, guys, when I tell you this thing took me through some changes, on this small campus of about 2,700 people, it took me through some changes. And so I used that to really understand how to cope with change. So if you think about it, I took S.A.R.A.H. And the first S in S.A.R.A.H., that stood for shock. As I would walk through the campus after this transition, I would walk through campus and I would see her standing with this guy, and I would see these different hairstyles and some of the things that I didn't see when she was dating me. I went through shock. And all the fellas out there, I know you can attest to this. I was like every day, like, I'm the man. What's going on? I was in a daze. I then took that A in S.A.R.A.H. and I got angry. Because how dare you? Here I am, 2 semesters from going overseas, really making some money, getting this thing done, and emotionally you broke my heart, and I was angry. So coming off of that shock, with that S, I went to that A and I was angry. And then I took that R and I got resentful. So the R in S.A.R.A.H. stands for resentment. I resented everyone in the vicinity because you knew that this was happening. You knew that this was going on. I was mad. I was resentful. I was in shock. And I will tell you, as a 22-year-old Black man in a small Southern town, it's just not a good place to be mentally, if any one of you can contest. It's just not a good place to be mentally. So you think, what did you do then? Well, after about 1.5 years of going through shock, anger, resentment, shock, anger, resentment, because that's what we do, right? We just repeat the course. Shock, anger, resentment. The S was for shock. The A was for anger. The R was for resentment. I finally got into a place after I had sat out of school for about 1.5 years. My eligibility was done. I watched this young lady move in and throughout campus with this young man. I said, S.A.R.A.H., I took that next A And I took accountability for what was going on. And it took for me to have many conversations with counselors and coaches and teammates. I had 3, 4 women running around that campus. How dare I get upset? But I will tell you, as a man, in particular as a Black man, that's what we do. We go through shock, anger, resentment, shock, anger, resentment, shock, anger, resentment. And we stay in that cycle and never get to a point where we accept accountability for the situation that's happening. Where am I accountable in this situation? Where I was accountable was that she wasn't the only woman I had. It just hurt my feelings because I thought I was all of that. And so once I was able to accept accountability for the situation, it was an acceptance that went on. That it is what it is. I'm 22, I'm still 6'5", with dimples on both sides of my face, with an incredible smile, with an incredible charisma, an incredible energy, and more importantly, with an assignment that had to be fulfilled. And at that point, I was able to take that H in S.A.R.A.H and I was able to heal. So let's go back. My initial reaction was shock, and that was the S. I was then angry, that was the first A. I was resentful, that was that R. And if you understand me when I tell you I went through that cycle for 1.5 years, shock, anger, resentment, shock, anger, resentment. It wasn't until I got to that next A where I accepted accountability for what was going on. I was able to move forward, understand my assignment, and heal. And I would challenge us as Black men and Black women, and just in general, understand that change is emotional. And this process that I just provided you with is helpful when you have road rage. When you're in that moment of change, or somebody says something crazy to you, or something happened with a family member, or something happened with a coworker, you are now responsible for going through your S.A.R.A.H, because you will. And the quicker that you're able to process the shock of what happened, your anger, your resentment, your accountability, and your acceptance for the situation being what it is, the quicker you're able to process this concept, you'll be able to get to the healing portion. We got a lot of life to live, and we cannot spend our time in this mass of anger and shock and resentment. We have to own what is happening in our lives and to our lives and the people around us, and then we will heal. I love each and every one of you all. Always remember in parting, wear your seatbelt, fly low, avoid the radar, no matter what happens. When they come for the car, save the radio. Step up to leadership, the Kid Allen Experience.